cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into today's episode of the Top Cut Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. My name is Sunny. I am your host, and I am here with my co-host, Giant Skyhawk. How are you doing today?
You used my actual name for once. I'm flattered.
Don't get used to it. I didn't have time to come up with it.
Finally, my persona is recognized. I'm good. I did a lot of laundry today. I did some cleanup. And did a little more work on my guide. Played a lot of Pokemon Scarlet. And that's been my day.
That sounds like a spectacular day. I do want to let you know before we go any farther that I have 16 pages on Dueling Book of Winged Beasts to go through. Trust me, it's not over.
Oh my God,
so,
the whole time.
with that said, of course, let's go ahead and thank all of our wonderful sponsors. So a huge thank you, of course, to Steelfox as well as ETB Games for their continued support of the podcast. Of course, I also want to thank Grimoire Accessories as well as Grimoire TCG and TGSAnime Games. We have affiliate links for all of those down below. You can get 10% off at Grimoire Accessories and 5% off each at Tier 0 and Grimoire TCG. Tier 0 has their Age of Overlord pre-sales up right now, so if you want to go ahead and get the jump on those, get out ahead of all of that and get your Age of Overlord stuff like the Diabell Star engine, Ken and Jen, and all the wonderful things we're going to talk about today. Be sure to check that out. Use code TOPCUT5 at checkout. And of course, also Grimoire TCG had a huge playmat drop. The one that Skyhawk is holding up right there. Of course, as you can see, they have, I think, 4 colors that went up. They're numbered 1 to 100. So they might be sold out by the time that you're hearing this, but if they're not, you really, really, really need to go ahead and hop on the website and grab them because they are moving like really fast. Also, they're doing exclusive giveaway-only play mats on Twitter. So the last one was a collab with DB Grinder. I really recommend following Grimoire TCG on Twitter because the ones, the royal red and gold playmat that was given away on Twitter, those are exclusive giveaway only colors that you're not going to find them on the store ever. You can only get them through giveaways. So it's kind of a really cool chase thing. But this is going to be a store that's going to really have a lot of up and coming stuff. So I would really, really recommend checking them out. The quality is insane. And to be able to get 5% off, even priced at $55, it's honestly a really good deal for such a high-end cloth 2-player playmat. So definitely check that out. And again, code TOPCUT5 at checkout for 5% off your order. Now, of course, let's go ahead and thank you to all of our wonderful patrons, and be sure to check out Dragon Shield and TCG Player. Don't want to forget any of that. We have a lot to cover today, so
we do. We're really going to get slapped.
My mind's all over the place.
They're good.
I actually have a lot to be excited about myself because I also have procured something cool.
He's procured.
I have. So I have made a couple of purchases.
Just a few.
Yeah, over the weekend. Thanks to you guys' generosity, you're the reason that I'm able to do this because I'm doing this to do more for you guys. I have spent a lot of money on computer parts. So there will be streams coming in the future, as well as hopefully better quality production because I got parts for a computer. So because the listeners aren't going to be able to hear that, we're going to be able to see that, but the YouTubers can see that. So I got my case, my motherboard, my processor. I got RAM and memory and a cooling fan. So all I need is my power supply and my GPU, which I actually have a guy at Locals that I think is going to trade those to me for cardboard. So that didn't come from you guys. I'm coming out of my own personal collection of my high-end Edison stuff for that. But
and who said Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't pay?
Well, for what it's worth, I'm doing this to create more content. So, but I dropped $900 on parts over the weekend, and I didn't get a GPU. So, and Caleb is actually gonna come by the house and help me put it all together. So There will actually, if I can get my computer running at a high enough FPS, I'm planning on doing a live stream when we actually put the computer together. And Caleb is going to be present, so that's going to be fun.
That sounds like a good time, actually.
So
Everybody,
it does. So if anyone's missing Caleb from the podcast, be sure to be on the lookout for the live stream when I get my GPU. So, with that said, so what are we talking about today first? Because I'm gonna let you set the schedule on our actual what we talk about in order and stuff, because I've kind of come to like it when you do the scheduling and I just kind of go, yes, good, yes.
I'm happy to be the administrative assistant for the podcast, which is mostly not true. That's actually probably you.
If anything, I'm the assistant and you actually do all of the real work.
I don't know about that. I mean, I personally, as somebody who sifts through emails all day, it is actually something that takes like a lot of time and brain power to deal with sometimes. So I'm with you.
Yes.
You gotta give yourself some credit.
I don't give myself any credit. All I do is run socials, run Discord, and like community outreach and sponsor stuff. That's all I do.
Yeah, let me just list out 6 different jobs.
That was 3, and half of them go together. That doesn't count. Anyway,
as the
group effort, we work together.
That's true.
Skylar does more than me. Don't let him fool you. Skylar does more than me. He does all the editing and posting. He does more than me.
As the agenda setter for the podcast, I think we'll start with. I guess. Do you want to read the Tistina cards? Do we need to read those?
Hold on. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards on this page. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so 7 Tistina cards. That's just rarity stuff. Okay, that's easy. Okay, that's 1 card. We can do that. That's 1 card. We can do that. That's 1 card. We can do that.
The goblins.
The
goblins are like 8 or 9
That is like
cards.
10 cards.
I think we can skip.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do the Tistinas. All right. So this is the second wave of support for the TCG exclusive Tistina archetype from the last set, Duelist Nexus, and notably the first wave of support was pretty bad. They don't really do anything, and so but there was like potential there, as is with all of the TCG exclusive archetypes. They're like, there's something here, but we're not going to tell you what it is. And you're going to find out that they screwed it up again. So first off, we have Fallen of the Tistina. It's a level 1 water aqua effect monster with 200 attack and 0 defense. You can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard. Place 1 Divine Domain Tistina from your deck face up in your field zone. That's their field spell. If a face-up Tistina spell, trap, or spell traps you control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can banish this card and special summon 1 light Tistina monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. You can only use each effect of Fallen of the Tistina once per turn. So it's Gravekeeper's Commandant, but it also means if your opponent outs your spell traps, you get to special summon the big one from the deck, which is like, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's okay.
Next, we have Returned of the Tistina. Level 2 Fire Aqua Effect Monster. 500 attack, 500 defense. If this card is in your hand, you can target 1 Tistina monster you control except Returned of the Tistina. Special summon this card, and if you do, its level becomes that targeted monster's level. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 Aqua Xyz monster you control. Attach this card to it as material. You can only use each effective return to the Tistina once per turn. Well, this card feels pretty good.
It's not bad. It's like it's a level 10 extender for a purpose you will see much later. And
I mean, it's a level anything you want extender, right?
You can target 1 Tistina you control to special it, and then its level becomes the targeted monster's level. Realistically, it's a level 10 extender.
I see a 1 and a 5 on this page also, but like...
Yeah, but...
I mean, it gives the deck toolbox the option, so at least, right?
You would think so, if your toolbox is entirely making a single Xyz monster. Next up,
I haven't read any of these cards, so I don't know.
that's fair. Next up is Tainted of the Tistina. It's a level 5 Dark Aqua effect monster, 2000 attack and 0 defense. You can tribute summon this card by tributing one face-down monster your opponent controls. This card's level becomes 10 if it was normal summoned or set. If this card is sent to the graveyard, except from the field, you can target one Tistina monster you control. This turn, it can make a second attack during each battle phase. Also, you can only attack with one monster. So this is like... It's reasonable removal, but it also requires you to like flip your opponent's monster first and also uses your normal summon. And it gives a monster an extra attack, but then you can only attack with the one monster.
Yeah.
Like,
but at least if you detach it, then you can if you detach it from the monster, this is like opposite Sangan. This is Bizarro World Sangan. If you detach it, it gets the effect.
yeah, it's a weird...
Because it wasn't sent from the field.
It's like there are like... I feel like there are so many conditions on these cards that they could just remove in the modern age, but they just didn't. But anyway, you want to read? This is the big. This is one of the two cards. That actually is like,
this looks like I would love to read this.
It actually does something.
Yeah, Tistina, the divinity that defies darkness, which is
Beautiful
what a
name.
name, by the way.
Excellent.
It's a level 10 light aqua 60s effect monster.
Level. It says that.
2000 attack, 3000 defense. Yeah, level. 2000 attack, 3000 defense. Material is 2 level 10 monsters. I love that it's generic, right? That surely that's gonna come up.
Mm-hmm.
If this card is special summoned, you can send all face down cards your opponent controls to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of Tistina, the divinity that defies darkness, once per turn. Once per turn, if this card has Crystal God Tistina as material, you can detach one material from this card. It gains 2000 attack until the end of your opponent's turn. If this card you control is destroyed by an opponent's card while it has material, you can special summon one Tistina monster from your graveyard. So it's an OTK tool because you can make it attack twice and it goes up to 4K.
Yeah. And to be fair, sending all face-down cards your opponent controls to the graveyard is pretty solid. It's at minimum a board wipe for any set spell traps, and it doesn't destroy them.
This deck, like, for sure plays Book of Eclipse, right?
They have some of their own cards can flip cards face down, but they're not very good. But yeah, probably you play the books to enable this. Notably, it's generic, so this kind of gives any deck that can make rank 10s access to, like, the kind of duster, but not really, because face-ups aren't affected by this.
You know, it's really funny. If you can just make level 10s, like rank 10s like this, why don't you just make Gustav Max and go into Lieb?
Yeah, that's just
right?
that's very, like, because if you make this generically, you're using it for the send effect. Like, it goes up to 4,000 and then does what? Nothing. It's kind of, yeah. It's mid. It's really mid.
Is big.
All right.
I don't know.
Next up, we got a quick play spell. This card is Play of the Tistina because they ran out of names. Since it's the quick play, it's Play of the Tistina.
What plays? This deck doesn't have plays, apparently.
Special summon a Tistina monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position, but return it to the hand during the end phase. You can only activate one Play of the Tistina once per turn. It's fine. It's quick play reborn. Special summons from hand.
You can only activate once per turn, not use.
You can only activate it once per turn. Mm-hmm.
I hate that. Just make them all use, dude. Why does this exist? Why is this a thing? Anyway. Embrace of the Tistina, continuous trap card. When your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, you can target that monster. Change it to face down defense position. Yeah, there we go. During the end phase, you can target one face down defense position monster your opponent controls. Take control of that monster. Okay. You can only use each effect of Embrace of the Tistina once per turn, and you can only activate them while you control a Tistina monster with 3,000 or more defense. That was totally unnecessary.
That's the thing.
That was totally unnecessary.
Like, this card was good until they added that requirement, and now it just kind of sucks. And it's also like it requires your opponent to activate a monster effect on the field, and then you can book it. Like,
you know what would make this card playable, but only within Tistina? To activate the effect of this card, or like this card to remain face up on the field, reveal a Tistina monster in your hand during the end phase. Sure.
Yeah, make it a yeah. Or just you control
So
any...
like this card without that restriction would be just a broken Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Yeah, or any other, like, you control any other Tistina. Like, yeah, or like some kind of condition like that, right? Anyway,
Yeah.
so this is the trap
Like,
card.
does it have to have 3,000 more? Okay. Anyway. Go ahead.
I'm with you. So this is the actually like reasonable card. So this is Discordance of the Testina. It's a normal trap card. Activate one of these effects. If you control a Testina monster, banish one card from your opponent's graveyard face down. If you control a Testina monster special summon from the extra deck, banish all cards from your opponent's graveyard face down. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Testina monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use one Discordance of the Testina effect per turn, and only once that turn. So, obviously banishing your opponent's entire graveyard face down reads crazy, but you have to summon the Xyz monster. And it does, the Xyz monster does nothing. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, not really.
So,
all right, where are we going from here?
Okay, so yeah, so from there it's going to be the other TCG exclusives from Age of Overlord. So these are the two cards that are kind of the talk of the town. If you want to get the first one, this is Ken and Gen. You may have seen people like Jesse Cotton make a video about this, Jeff Jones talk about it on Twitter. It's causing a lot of discussion, so we'll read them and then we can let you know what's up.
Sure. So, first card is Ken the Warrior Dragon. Level 3 light warrior effect monster. 1300 attack, 1550 defense. Once per turn, at the end of the battle phase, return this card from the field to the hand. You can only use each of the following effects of Ken the Warrior Dragon once per turn. During your main phase, you can special summon one Gen the Diamond Tiger from your hand or deck to your opponent's field in defense position. If this card is special summoned by this effect of Gen the Diamond Tiger, your opponent draws 2 cards, then they discard 1. So, I'll let you read Gen, and then we'll kind of break down how these actually work, because it's confusing.
It's a little bit weird. Once you get it, it makes more sense. But so next up, we've got Gen the Diamond Tiger. It's a level 3 light warrior effect monster with 800 attack and 2k defense. Once per turn at the end of the battle phase, return this card from the field to the hand, and then each of the other effects are once per turn. During your main phase, you can special summon one Ken the Warrior Dragon from your hand or deck to your opponent's field in defense position, and then if this card is special summoned by the effect of Ken the Warrior Dragon, discard 1 card. So, the effects at the end, when this card is special summoned by the effect of either Gen or Ken, apply by the person who controls the card, because the special summon was done there. So if I normal summon Gen the Diamond Tiger and I give my opponent Ken, when Ken activates, Ken says your opponent draws 2 and discards 1. But the opponent in this case is you who normal summoned the Gen. So if you normal Gen and give your opponent Ken, you draw 2 and discard 1. It applies reverse too.
Yes.
If you normal summon the Ken and give your opponent the Gen activates on your opponent's side of the field, so they discard 1 card.
Yep.
So
this is awful.
I mean,
they're good.
I could not sum it up any better than what you just said. The biggest piece of the puzzle here is if you look at the art on Gen the Diamond Tiger, you may notice something familiar that he is holding in his hand, and that is like the bat weapon thing from Triple Tactics Talent and Triple Tactics Thrust. It's a fan. It's a battle fan. It's a battle fan. There were people at my locals calling Triple Tactics Talent Spike Bat for a while, so I have it stuck in my head that it's a bat. Shout outs to the Edmonton local community. So the main use of this card is that it is.
I didn't notice that when I first saw this card, by the way.
It took me a little bit to catch it. The main uses of these cards are obviously in combination with Triple Tactics Talent, Triple Tactics Thrust. This does a few things.
The main uses of these cards is to get those 2 cards banned.
That's my theory, to be honest with you. I think they printed these cards so that they could have an excuse to ban Thrust and Talents.
In the TCG. So these are TCG exclusives.
This is interesting. In theory, these cards are nuts. If you open any one of these with Thrust or Talents, it instantly turns them on because you're making your opponent activate a monster effect. It turns off Imperm because they have to Imperm this that you normal summon. Otherwise, they control a card, so they can't use it. And like let's say, so for example, Gen is very clearly the better one of the two, because normal Gen, give your opponent Gen so that you draw 2 and discard 1, is better than your opponent choosing which card they discard out of their hand. Not to say that making your opponent go down a card is necessarily a bad outcome, but for example, let's say with Triple Tactics Talent, you normal this, give it to your opponent, you activate Triple Tactics Talent. You give Ken to your opponent, you draw 2, discard 1, then you activate Triple Tactics Talent, and you draw 2 more. So that's a 2-card combo to draw 4 cards, which is already ridiculous. But you can also look at your opponent's hand and see what they're playing before you commit to anything else, and rip a card out of their hand. You can take the monster back, and you now have 2 level 3s to do Cherubini nonsense. That's like the worst outcome here. If you have Thrust, you get to search any spell card in the game. So, after drawing 2 and discarding 1, or hand looping your opponent. So, in theory, these cards are absolutely bonkers nuts. However, they're not quite as broken as I think people are making them out to believe. It requires you to open an unsearchable 2-card combo, and if you do the normal summon of the best one, it locks you out of using Prosperity because of the draw effect. So you have to kind of like reverse how you would do it if you also want to play Prosperity and change your ratio. And the other issue with these cards is that they eat your normal summon. So decks that can play it probably have to be decks that can play without their normal summon. However, there are already a few decks that will be making use of this. Pearly and Dark World are cards that are going to play this. Pearly does not need their normal.
I hate that you're right.
So yeah, Pearly like benefits from discard engines anyway. So you just play you just go back to playing the Dark World engine, and then you get your extreme value off the discards, especially because your opponent is the one activating the effect that makes you discard. So when you use your Brow, you actually draw 2 cards if you discard a Brow because your opponent is making you discard it. Speaking of, that's how the entire Dark World deck works. So Dark World, which did not have a normal summon, now has a normal summon that just wins them the game if it resolves. So that's cool. But again, generically, I think they're harder to use than people would expect. So they're clearly busted. It's just a matter of how busted and how widespread their use will be.
I think that these cards are, in theory, crazy, and that if you're going to your sneak peek this weekend, you should get 3 copies of both because they're commons.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know if these cards are going to be as crazy as people say.
That's what I think. I think people hyped it up as like every deck is going to be playing these cards with like 3 Triple Tactics Talent and 3 Triple Tactics Thrust, and it's like post side maybe like they could see play generically in that way, but again, it's an unsearchable 2-card combo.
Yeah.
So there's that. Now, notably, depending on how deep in you want to go, you can play 7 of the normal summons with Rhoda because they're warriors, and then you can play 6 of Thrust and Talents, but that's like 14 slots that they're like, what's the number? No, it's 13 slots you'd be dedicating to it. What do you do?
I don't think it matters because I think that of those 14 slots that you're dedicating to it, or 13, I think that 3 of them are just engine at that point because Thrust is literally just engine at that point, right?
Yeah, and Talents is like high odds to be engine.
Yeah.
And if you
that said, Emporium is the best card in the game now.
Yeah, especially because it doesn't play into Talents Thrust, and it hits these cards.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
The other deck that plays this is Infernoble, because they're warriors and they can just summon it from deck with Assault.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, wow.
That's really stupid.
Wow. All right. Next card, though, is Asset Mountus. Like it's Mantis, but it's mounted.
I gotta say,
you okay there?
Firstly, just here, the name of this card is I cannot believe whoever snuck this through, and secondly, the artwork. Why
is the Mantis so thick?
The artwork.
Why is that?
Is unbelievable. You have to look this card up if you haven't seen it.
It's wonderful.
I know I never actually.
You're gonna put up a picture of this card right here.
Yeah, I almost never actually do it, but I will 100% put a picture of Asset Mountus up here. It's way too funny.
We're actually recording on time for once. You actually have time to do that.
That's true, actually. I do.
So This card is a level 7 light insect effect monster. It's even funnier that it's a light because all the gold bars are reflecting the light.
Yep.
2300 attack, 2000 defense. If your opponent controls a level 6 or lower monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. So, like, if you give your opponent Ken or Gen, you summon this guy. Anyway, if you have more cards in your hand than your opponent, who you just made to discard a card, you can change the battle positions of all monsters on the field. All other insect monsters on the field become the same attribute and level as this card. Also, you cannot special summon monster for the rest of this turn except insect monsters. If this card is destroyed, you can add one level 8 or higher monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect of Asset Mountus once per turn. This card is like another card that's like, yeah, it's in theory it's playable, but like it's really not.
Notably,
we all know the truth.
Yeah, notably the written translation of this is it's not any level 8 or higher monster, it's any level 8 or higher insect monster. They wrote the text wrong. And so that's very different. Never mind, this card's not playable. Yeah. I mean, what? Okay, it's not really very good. However, notably, if you look at this card with the alt art of Eldritch the Golden Lord, they're in a very similar position. They're facing away from each other, and Golden Lord is kind of on the pile of junk, right? So there is like a universe where this card is part of the Eldritch lore for some reason. But it's just, you have to look at the card's art. I'm putting it up again. I don't care.
What if this is the Golden Lord without any armor on?
I think that's okay. How are the scythes? How are those being hidden in the arms? I don't think that's the case.
He had a really bad battle, and so now he has to wear the armor like Darth Vader.
Oh. Now you're cooking.
And you can't prove me wrong.
Now, hold on. Actually, you're kind of cooking with that one. Actually, I'm in on that theory.
Golden Lord's wearing Darth Vader armor, and Golden Lord is actually a giant bug.
I'm a big fan.
And now all those people that want Golden Lord for the wrong reasons, you're rethinking it now because it's a mantis.
I promise you, none of those people are rethinking it. There are way too many Twitter posts. Anyway, let's move on before this conversation gets worse. We have a sequel to Pit Knight Early, which was a TCG exclusive Link monster, and this is Pit Knight Philly. It is a Link to Fire Cyberse effect monster with 1500 attack. What, you were going to call it Pit Knight Late?
Yeah, well, Pit Knight Lady, yeah.
Lady?
L-A-T-Y.
Early and late.
But like lady.
Okay.
Lady.
I'm in. Okay. It's a 1500 attack, points to the left and to the right. Materials are just 2 effect monsters, any of them. If this card is special summoned to a zone a Link monster points to, you can target one monster you control with 1500 or less attack. This turn, it can make a second attack during each battle phase. Also, if it battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled. During the standby phase of the next turn after this card was destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card. You can only use each effect of Pit Knight Philly once per turn. It's okay. It's not, I don't think it's as good as Early was. Early's actually a form of disruption. This card's kind of weird. But this does, I think, open up some interesting OTK lines with Cat Shark and Sprite. So we could see Sprite players tech this into the extra deck. But otherwise, it's cool to have, but I don't think it's that crazy.
Yeah, I don't know that it'll make it into the extra deck because I think that the extra decks in those decks are kind of already tight. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting for sure. I don't think it's as good as Early, but it's interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, all right. Next to you, we have a Watt Psychic Fighting Porter. This is a quick play spell card. This is Watt, W-A-T-T, so it's a part of the Watt archetype. Quick play spell card, special summon up to 2 level 3 or lower light monsters from your hand. Being a quick play, that's pretty good. If you summon 2 monsters with the same original type, those monsters can attack directly this turn. If they have the same original level, they also cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. You can only activate 1 Watt Psychic Fighting Porter per turn. I mean, that's very Watt.
It's a Watt card.
But it's also not bad.
Honestly, I think the Watt deck probably plays this. Like, it's a little minus just because you're doing all the bodies out from your hand, but they already have ways in the form of the old continuous spell to, like, get a bunch of Watts in hand. Also, like
I said, I like that it's quick play.
Having the protection is good. Having them attack directly if they already can't attack directly is really nice. Also, it is interesting that the TCG has made like a exclusive Watt card as support for the OCG WOT cards that have come over. So that's, I think this card is technically not supposed to be part of the WOT archetype, although it's obviously intentional that it says WOT. The art is actually, if I remember the name of the card, I think it's actually Telekinetic Soldier. It's there. There's like a different card that's supposed to be here. It might be misinformation counter on the exact name of the card, but it is actually like a psychic monster that is on the art here. Cool.
I'm with it.
So that is so that's AGOV, the cards that we didn't know. So the TCG exclusives. So the other kind of stuff to go over for Age of Overlord is the rarity spread. So
where are we at on time?
Let me find out for you, oh great Sonny of the Top Cut podcast.
Let's start talking about the rarity spread while you do that.
So we're about 30 minutes in.
Perfect. We have plenty of time. So we have the full list of all of the quarter century secret rares, I do believe.
Yeah, we don't need to go too into detail on these. The quarter century secret rares are just all of the ultras and secrets.
Oh, literally all of them?
Aside from Magician's Saban and Unity, it's just all the secrets and all the ultras. There's no exceptions.
Oh. Well, all right then. So any card that we mentioned that's a secret or ultra is also a quarter century secret rare. Notably, the Magician's Bond and Unity in this particular one is the yellow background. Mm-hmm. So
true.
I think that this is actually a great place to talk about these secret rares and about these ultra rares, because there are a lot of cards here that I was expecting to be one rarity and it ended up the other one. But also, I think it's worth noting that literally all of these cards have kind of have like a hard cap on their prices just because the quarter century exists. Just because of that. So a great example of this is Super Star Slayer Typhon Sky Crisis, which is like the Zeus retrain, which is, by the way, amazing job translating that name. Just listen. Every now and then, what's his name? Utopia guy. What's his name?
Kevin Tewart.
Every now and then, Tewart gets one right. Okay, this one was done right. They did this one. They did this dude right. Super Star Slayer Typhon Sky Crisis is amazing.
I love Star Slayer. No, this card's amazing.
Yeah. This name's so awesome, it's putting me in a stupor. Mm-hmm. I was expecting this to be a secret, and it came out as an ultra. So for this card here, like, you can expect the price point on this card. I think when things settle, a sneak peek weekend, they're going to be like $50, right? But I think when things settle, this card might be like $20, $25.
It's not even
realistically.
It's not even that expensive right now. I think it's way cheaper than that right now.
On pre-sale?
Yeah, let me pull up Tier 0. It was down
at Tier 0 Games.
Yeah, it was at like 5.
No way.
Yeah. There's a lot of the value in this set is stacked at the secret rares. Most of the good cards are there. And let me pull it up.
That's crazy. Okay, yeah, actually, that's a good idea, though.
If you want to keep rolling,
pull up
if you want to keep rolling.
So the Sky Crisis, the quarter century secret rare is 160 pounds of this dude. That's crazy. Why am I only showing 15 cards 12 things per page? I need to show all of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. And then let's see. Wow.
Okay, never mind. It's not.
It really 15 pounds. Wow, that's still not bad though.
Yeah, if I'm looking Canadian dollars, it's 25.55 Canadian. So it's like $20 US.
It's 15 US or 15 pounds is what they have it listed at. So I guess 20. Okay, yeah. So that's about where I figured it would settle though. So that's really still not bad, all things considered.
It's likely to drop.
I think so. Now the one that kills me. The Dream is Dead. SP Little Knight is a secret rare. So, exciting stuff. Although I will say, I think that the ceiling on this card is around 60, 65 US dollars because of there being a quarter century secret rare that will hold it back to a certain point. But This card has the potential to be 130, 140.
Yeah, this is, to me, I think it might even be a worse. So I think the comparable cards that we have to this right now are Chaos Angel and Triple Tactics Thrust.
I disagree.
Chaos Angel, I'm not saying that they're direct comparisons. I'm saying that they're what we have to compare to in recent history.
But I think that we have a better recent history comparison card. It's not that recent, but I think we have another card that is in this exact card scenario, and that is Divine Arsenal AA Zeus Sky Thunder. Zeus was a one of extra deck staple. If you were playing Zoo, it was a 2 of extra deck staple.
That's true.
Maybe even 3, but generally considered it was a 1 card staple that most but not all decks played, and the secret rare topped out around $60 because it had a Starlight rare to hold the price down, to push the price down.
What's crazy is that this card is more omnipresent than Zeus is, though. Like,
I don't know that it is, though.
No, I think 100% more decks will be playing SP than they will be playing Zeus. I guarantee it.
But for Zeus, you have to play some kind of an Xyz package.
Yeah.
And for this, you need to play some kind of a Link package.
No, you don't.
Not all decks are going to play that.
You have misread this card. You make it with, if it's made with any Fusion, Synchro, Link, or Xyz.
Let me go reread it. I haven't read this card.
Yeah, and importantly, you don't even need to make it with any of those to get one of the effects. So basically every single deck that wants to go into the extra deck will play one of this, and most decks will play 2. Not most decks, actually, sorry. Some decks will play 2. Rescue Ace, for example, really wants to play 2 of this card. So I'm not saying you're wrong. Like, Zeus is actually a much better comparison than something like Chaos Angel. And importantly, in both of those sets, even Zeus and Chaos Angel were like there was not a lot competing with them price wise, at least initially. In this set, there's a lot competing with them price wise. You've got,
just initially, yeah.
You have Phantom Rage later became a lot better value wise, and same with Cyberstorm Access, I think.
Yeah, can't complain about $35 fractals, baby. I got mine at $3.
I remember that. That was funny.
Yeah.
Well,
it was great.
Yeah, it's I don't know. SP is, the problem is that there is no like alternative to SP. That's why I use Thrust as a comparison. There's just not a card that does what this does for the investment.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I think, I don't know. I think this is a $100 card. Like, we'll see.
It has all the potential to be.
Yeah.
Dia Bellstar, the Black Witch, as well as what is it? Is it Wanted Seeker of the Sinful Spoils? Is that the card that goes with it? Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
As well as also, is it Tainted? No, is it Original Sinful Spoils, Snake Eye, and Divine Temple of the Snake Eye? So Wanted and Dia Bellstar are secrets, and Divine Temple and Original Sinful Spoils are both ultras. So this package, you're looking at, is it 3 ofs everything that you play?
If you're playing the generic Dia Bellstar engine, you play 1 of Dia Bellstar and you play 3 of the spell card. So you
10
play
cards?
You play 3 Wanted and 1 Dia Bellstar, and then you play whatever other cards you want to search. So it's, depending on your package, it's between like 5 and 8 cards.
I think Dia Bellstar is probably a $15 to $20 secret rare, and Wanted, if it's the 3 of, is probably $30, $35.
The spell card is a lot more expensive right now. Although I'm thinking Maple money, I think the spell card is sitting around like 50 USD for pre-sale.
Is it Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils? Oh man.
Yeah, if I pull it up on... Yeah, so if I pull it up on Tier 0 Games, it is currently...
Gamer's Choice has it at 60.
Yeah, it's currently sold out at Tier 0 at 71 Canadian, so 60 seems about right. Notably, like, the immediate meta impact is Rescue Ace. So there's that.
I think I forget in my head these are secret rares. I don't know why I had in my head that Wanted was an ultra. You know, though, I really do think that 60 is kind of high for this engine. I think that even if you look at like Cashier Theosis were like 40 to 50 on release, or even like 80 on release, whatever they were, and they dropped down to like 25, because it's just not. Yeah, this is like more generic, but I think at the end of the day, I just do not think that cards, especially cards that are literally all quarter century secret rares, I just don't see these cards being $650, $60, $70. I think there's too much cap on the pricing on these cards. Because I mean, if you're talking about the secret rare being 60 for Wanted, and the secret rare for Diabellstar being 30, you're already looking at $200 for the package, not including the ultra rares.
Yeah.
I just don't see this package being $200 for the original secrets and ultras. I see the quarter century secret rares being the high end ones.
It is.
So I don't know.
It's going to be interesting. I think this will be the ultimate test for the quarter century secret rare model of boxes.
Yeah.
Because Duelist Nexus was, with the exception of Revolution Synchron, pretty solid for players, but it was not very good for vendors. And
Yes.
to the point where it caused some issues. This will be interesting to see where the balance tips. I think SP is like the boundary pusher here. I think SP could get really bad. But I think you're right. There's a good point that the Diabellstar stuff might fall, at least until another deck outside of SQA starts playing it and seeing consistent results.
And also the Chimera cards have really ended up like holding their own within the meta out of Dune. So like that's something else like that makes Dune worth having and playing.
One other thing,
Crimson Dragon's gonna get banned.
Yeah, despite all of this stuff, it really sucks that SP is a secret and not an ultra. I really dislike when cards that basically everybody has to own in order to compete are put at the secret slot. But some other notes, Visa Samsara also got up to secret, which I guess is fair. It's normal summonable Visa Starfrost, which is a tool that Monadium can use really well. Some TG cards are at secret. Imseti and Duamutef are at secret. Imseti was expected. We knew that based on the reveals. Duamutef's kind of interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about that being there. And then notably, Arios, the Labyrinth, the Butler is also at secret. I don't think this will be that crazy. But if Labyrinth gets really good because of what Arios does for the deck, then this card could get expensive. Similar to the way that Lady Lab did.
I think it is also interesting to have there was another card that I saw in here that I wanted to mention in the ultras. Oh, the Vanquish Soul Xiaolong.
Yep. Xiaolong is a good card.
Being in the ultras. Yeah, so I don't know, we'll see.
Notably, Xiaolong at Ultra matches the rest of the Vanquish Souls, so I think that's a fair place to put it.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, just it matches. Okay, so
that's
you want to talk about anything else?
Nothing else out of Agov. We're moving on to the other
Jen
cards.
and Gen really are commons.
Yep. I mean, probably
Crazy.
a good thing.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like Pankratops level commons.
Yeah. It's
All right, so
yeah, that's a good
let's
comparison,
talk about the okay. I'll read the trap card, then you do the goblin card, and then we'll do all of the goblin cards because I'm actually really excited about the goblin cards. I think goblins are cool.
There is one card actually that you missed here, and that's the
Pendulum Witch.
The Pendulum Witch. Yeah, this is a V Jump promo.
Last, but we can do that now.
Oh, we're doing that last.
You do it.
Okay,
You do
I'll
it.
just do it quick. Cast a spell in the audience with Pendulum Witch, V-Jump, generic Pendulum. It's a level 3 Earth spellcaster with 1500 attack and 800 defense. Its scale is 8. That's Pendulum effect, it's once per turn. If a face-up fusion, synchro, and or Xyz monsters you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect while it's in the Pendulum zone, you can add a Pendulum monster with the same original type as one of those monsters from your deck to your extra deck face-up. And the monster effect is that if it's normal or Pendulum summoned, you can target one card in your Pendulum zone, destroy both it and this card, and if you do, add a level 4 or lower Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand, and then if this card is in the monster zone is destroyed, you can place it in your Pendulum zone. The pendulum effect is not really very good. The monster effect is actually quite strong. Adding any level 4 or lower pendulum monster is really powerful. And putting it back in the scale afterwards makes it very high value as a normal summon. It serves as a scale and a searcher. I don't know that it makes pendulum crazy, but it is a really good card.
Yeah, as far as pendulum cards go, this is definitely what they want to see.
True. All right. Phantom Nightmare time. Let's go.
Alrighty, so let's start off with Rumpel Tufel. This is a normal trap card. You can only use either the first or second effect of this card's name once per turn. 1. Declare one monster card's name. Neither player can special summon monsters with that original name for the rest of this turn, except from the graveyard. 2. You can banish this card from your graveyard and declare one monster card's name. Neither player can activate the effects of monsters on the field with that original name for the rest of this turn. That is cool. But it definitely, I don't know. This could definitely see play in Labyrinth.
It's an interesting tech. I mean, I'm against something like Rescue Ace. If you call it Turbulence, they don't do anything. So it has that like trap card prohibition type of thing going on. I think it's interesting. And the graveyard effect, honestly, I think is quite good as well. But again, it's one effect per turn once that turn. It could see play in Labyrinth as like a sideboard tech, as a thrust target, even against like some strategies. Like imagine calling Diabellstar with this. It seems good.
Yeah.
Or like,
I mean, I feel like you can think of at least one card in every deck that's just like, oh, crap. You know?
What do I do?
Yeah.
So interestingly, this card is actually part of the Albaz lore. This is Aluber's Mask that we are seeing on the
sitting on the throne.
Ground. Yep. So it is an interesting bit. Apparently this confirms this all but confirms that Aluber is actually Satan. But I mean, we'll see how that goes.
But like in a cool, edgy way.
True. So I guess next is the One of Goblin card. So this is Goblin Paratrooper Squad from Phantom Nightmare. This is Goblin Paratrooper Squad. It's a level 4 Wind Warrior with 0 attack and 2,000 defense, each effect once per turn. If this card is special summoned from the hand in attack position, you can target one effect monster your opponent controls, change this card to defense position, also negate that target's effects while this card is in face-up defense position. 2. If a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field while this card is in your graveyard, you can discard one card and then add this card to your hand. It's a solid extender. Notably, they revealed this just before the new wave of cards that we're getting. And this card also has Goblinberg in the background, which I think is very cool.
I got the pleasure of sending Caleb the link for the Goblin archetype. Because Goblins are his favorite anything ever. Like in Magic, he like exclusively plays Goblin decks. Like he loves. He like if there's like an RPG game or like Dungeons and Dragons and he can play goblins, he loves goblins. So he's gonna really enjoy this. All right.
Nice.
So I love the picture that they went with for like the thumbnail for this page, which is there a Goblin of the Year award? And it's got like these guys' pictures, which I love that. The Goblin Riders are going Goblin mode in Phantom Nightmare. Goblin Slayer debuted for a reason. That, indeed. All right, so first we have Goblin Rider Doug the Assaulter, but it's D-U-G, Doug. Goblin Rider Doug the Assaulter.
Are you
messaging Caleb? Yeah.
You good?
Yeah. Earth Warrior effect monster, level 3, 1600 attack, 0 defense. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. 1. If this card is in your hand, you can detach one Xyz material monster on the field, and if you do, special summon this card. 2. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one Goblin Rider spell trap from your deck to your hand.
It's a good card. Notably,
It definitely like appeals to like the goblin dynamic of like flooding the field.
this just detaches from an Xyz monster anywhere on the field. So if you're playing in the Pearly matchup, you can just detach the spell, and they don't have a quick effect anymore.
Oh, that's crazy. I did not even think about that. Yeah. This is my first time seeing these cards. Wow.
Yeah. It's actually like, this card is really cool. And it's a decent normal too. It gets a spell trap. So next up is Goblin Rider Clutter the Noisy. I love that they're giving it like the names like this, like Blank the Blank. It definitely feels like that like
Goblins.
weird like biker crew setup they got going on. It's a Fire Beast Warrior with level 3, 1500 attack and 0 defense. You can only use the first and second effect once per turn. 1, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can target a goblin monster in your graveyard, except for Clutter the Noisy, and special summon it. It's Wolfbark. I like Wolfbark. During your opponent's main phase, if this card is in your graveyard as a quick effect, you can detach 1 Xyz material from a monster on the field. And if you do, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. This is really sick.
Dang, they really did make Goblinberg as an archetype. That's crazy.
That's pretty baller.
This is not bad so far.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
You got this one?
Caleb sent me his reaction, and it's various goblin gifts from Clash of Clans. And they're all partying in every gif. So next we have Goblin Rider Boon the Mach Speed. Wind Warrior Effect Monster. Level 3, 1300 attack, 0 defense. I love that they all have 0 defense too, because goblins are like traditionally like very dinky guys.
Yep.
First effect, during the main phase, if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can quick effect. You cannot special summon Goblin Rider Boon the Mach Speed until the end of the next turn. Also, detach 1 Xyz material from a monster on the field, and if you do special summon this card? Huh?
It's an extender.
What's such a weird way to say once per turn.
It is a weird restriction. I think it's so that you can do it as a quick effect. It seems like the gimmick is that you can quick effect detach an Xyz monster to special summon these guys on your opponent's turn as well as your own. So they're just saying you can only do this one on your turn or your opponent's turn. You can't do them back to back, I think is the idea. Definitely the least good of the 3, I think, but also maybe the least conditional. So next up is Goblin Rider Miyanda the Cold-Blooded. That's a good name. Water Fiend, it's level 3, 1400 attack and 0 defense. You can only use each effect once per turn. 1, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon 1 goblin monster from your hand, except for Goblin Rider Miyanda the Cold-Blooded. It's Goblinberg. You're right, the whole deck is Goblinberg. 2,
yeah.
If this card is in your graveyard, you can detach 1 Xyz material from a monster on the field, and if you do, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. It's good. It's another spam tool.
Sorry, I saw the next card name.
It's a good name. Well, you get to read it. Why don't you tell the people?
I'm sorry. No, you can finish what you were saying about this card. I'm sorry.
I don't have anything else to say. Go ahead.
Goblin Rider Big Head Gabunga.
Gabunga. It's Gabunga.
Rank 3, 2100 attack, 0 defense. 2 level 3 monsters. You can only use the first, second, and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. 1, if this card is Xyz summoned, you can add 1 goblin monster from your deck to your hand. Yep, that's pretty good. 2, if any Xyz materials is detached from monsters on the field, you can target 1 other face-up monster on the field. Attach it to this card as material. That's crazy, actually. 3, during each end phase, you can attach 1 goblin monster from your deck to this card as material.
This card is really good.
Wow.
It's really sick. Like, all the goblins detach from this. And you can either use it to, like, stack it up even more or just use it as flexible removal. Seems pretty darn good. So next up, we've got a rank 6 Xyz, and this is Goblin's Crazy Beast. First we had Crazy Box, now we got Crazy Beast.
Amazing.
So it's a Dark Fiend Xyz, rank 6, 2700 attack, and as always, 0 defense. 2+ level 6 monsters. You can only use the third effect of this card's name once per duel. Once per turn as a quick effect. You can target one spell or trap card on the field. Detach 2 Xyz materials from monsters on the field, and if you do, attach that card to this card as material. 2. If a monster or monsters you control would be destroyed by card effect, you can detach one material from this card instead. Then 3, if this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon it. Then you can attach one Goblin monster from your graveyard to it as material.
Dude,
It's good.
I don't know if this deck is like actually good or like really format dependent, but it's hilarious and I want to build it so bad.
It seems like it's playable. Like honestly, there are like reasons you would just play vanilla Goblinberg in it. But anyway, this next card is actually crazy. So if you want to read it, you'll be happy about this.
Yeah, Grand Meeting of the Goblin Riders. Continuous spell. You can only use the third effect of this card's name once per turn. 1. Goblin monsters you control gain 300 attack for each goblin monster you control. That alone is the very definition of goblin. I love that. 2. During your main phase, you can normal summon one goblin monster. In addition to your normal summoner set, you can only gain this effect once per turn. That's also very goblin. That is also crazy. 3. You can target 2 goblin monsters you control that have a level, and to activate one of these effects. The level of one of them becomes the level of the other. Their levels become their total original levels. Wow. So you can literally just either Goblinberg them or you can just Earth Machine them. That's crazy.
Yep. Yeah, so it means you have a flexible toolbox too. If you decide to play Goblinberg, gives you access to the 4 pool or the 7 pool. So there's actually some cool flexibility here. It means like if you control 2 of the 3s, you can make the 6. So next up, we got a normal spell card. This is Grand Entrance of the Goblin Riders. It's a normal spell. You can only use each effect once per turn. And 1, add 1 goblin monster from your deck to your hand. Then you can detach 1 Xyz material from a monster on the field, and if you do, special summon 1 level 4 or lower goblin monster from your hand. So this is Goblin Rhoda. Searches any goblin monster. Which, to be fair, the pool of goblin monsters aside from Goblinberg is not very good, but it's now much better with these cards. And 2, you can banish this card from your graveyard, detach 1 Xyz material from a monster on the field, then you can add 1 goblin monster from your graveyard to your hand. Notably, you can do this on the same turn. This card is nuts. It's Rhoda that is also an extender if either your opponent controls an Xyz monster or you control an Xyz monster, and also it recycles stuff from grave. It's really
I have never wanted to play a deck so badly outside of like exactly Gate Guardian.
You want to get the last card that we've got so far?
I do. I'm looking at cards with Goblin in the name. Did you know there's a card called Goblin Black Ops?
Yes, yeah, I did actually. I looked them up like an hour ago. Anyway.
Next, we have Goblin Rider Stampede, a continuous trap card. You can only use one of the first and second effect of this card's name each once per... You can only use one of the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn and only once that turn. 1. During the main phase, you can. Immediately after this effect resolves, Xyz summon using only goblin monster you control as material. It's just Revolt. I love that. 2. If you control a goblin Xyz monster, you can target 1 effect monster on the field, detach 1 Xyz material from a monster on the field, and if you do, negate that targeted monster's effects until the end of source. Interesting. Probably until the end of the turn.
It's until the end of this turn, yeah.
Yeah. Regardless, this card is...
It's a good card.
Nuts. Wow.
It's imperm or it's a quick Xyz. Seems really good.
Yeah. All right. Next, we have 2 new Snake Eye support cards.
Yes.
These are also from Phantom Nightmare. And I know that we're not giving the Goblin cards as much time as either of us would like, but we are at time right now.
Yeah, we got to get rolling.
And these cards just came out.
Yeah, this card is...
but I love the Goblin cards.
They're really good. This first Snake Eyes card is absolutely bonkers. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So this is Snake Eyes Populous. It's a level 1 Fire Pyro effect monster. We're just getting baller Pyro cards. 700 attack, 200 defense. It's a rekindling target, too. Oh, my God.
Oh, wow.
You can only use the first, second, and third effect of this card's name once per turn. 1. If this card is added to your hand, maybe with Bonfire, except by drawing it, you can special summon it. 2. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 Snake Eye spell trap from your deck to your hand. 3. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target a fire monster in your graveyard, place it face up in its owner's spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. This is just extra consistency for the snake for the Diabellstar engine. And it's also Rescue Ace just gets more consistent if they really want to. You can go Bonfire, add this, special this because you added it with Bonfire, add Wanted, go get Diabellstar, summon Diabellstar, go get another spell card.
This is crazy.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway.
Yeah. Next, we have Snake Eye Dramatic Chase, a quick play spell card. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. 1. Place 1 Diabellstar monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up in its owner's spawn trap zone as a continuous spell. 2. During the end phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 monster card treated as a continuous spell you control, special summon it. Hey, that's kinda nuts.
Yeah, it basically is a way to special ending fire if you got it engraved during the end phase. There's probably a cool way to use it. Honestly, it seems pretty good. Like, it's definitely a thing. It's like a weird delayed e-telly, but it's it's a toolbox card for sure. Probably usable in like Centurion maybe. They got some fires they can use. So that
DEEZ. Wow, what a card. What a set of cards. Wow.
There's a lot to be excited about upcoming. Before we finish the podcast very quickly, there was a list going around on Twitter. A Rescue Ace deck topped a Melbourne regional. It got top 4. I think it got exactly 4th. And this deck list is normal, except for one card at the beginning of the list, which is Gate Guardian.
I always love that. This deck list is normal, except for.
So they're not playing any other cards. It's not like it's an engine. They're just playing Gate Guardian. So
just original one. Just one of the original.
It's one of the OG. So would you like to know why this is the case?
I would love to know that. I think I got spoiled on Twitter, but I would love to know.
Yeah. So the reason that this is, apparently it is a meme in the Melbourne Yu-Gi-Oh community. Where if you already have your invite, you have to play Gate Guardian in your list if you enter a regional. And this guy I guess he just didn't draw it. So he's still top the regional.
That's crazy.
This ruins Rogue's format. So Sonny, your Gate Guardian top has finally happened. You've been you officially deactivate.
Let's go, baby!
You've officially been proven right.
Sunny misinformation counter goes down by 1. Let's go.
All right. I think that's it.
All right. Well, let's, of course, thank all of our wonderful, wonderful patrons. So a huge thank you to Kane Martin, Zyphorus, Big Stinky, Blue as his best copium, Common Sunny L. Whoa. Let's all calm down here. And also understand that I do have your name and shipping address in the patron information. Speaking of, if you're a patron, please actually make sure that your shipping address is in there, because if you're in the $5 and up tier, you get like stickers, t-shirts, hoodies, things like that. So like, be sure that your address is in there. Ding Dongs, hostess of the Yang Zing, give me that Harussi, Konami. HGH Cyber, I used to play Rogue, but then my mom got a job. John Leal, Maple Money Brain Gang, Mountain Man, Oatmeal Spaghetti, Owen Alvarado, Pistol Place Pendulum, Silver Hope, Tiny Earth Cat, understanding and reading are two different things. Virtually Saver's World, what do you call a magic owl? Houdini, Wind Up Carrier, Zinfidel Mighty, Aaron Gardner, Alexander Chan, Asami Ashlish, Chaptsuyo, Sympath Silver Castle, Blackman Silver in the Ascent is the best floodgate. Box Wine, come on and get your game on. Duty Booty, Dragon Maidenless Behavior. I'm about to Rika Glamour, Tribute for Costies, Plant Nuts in Your Mouth, Level 4 Fire Warrior Gaming, Lama Yama Cam Sarama, Max CPAC, Neshi, Old Man Red, and Pig Code 143. Thank you all so much for your continued support of the podcast. And of course, until next time, have a wonderful day, everybody.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have a card pun for this one. So here's Punch in the Box. It's a funny card.